So again, thank you for joining us. And now I'd like to go ahead and share with you about current initiatives of the Council and a little bit more about the Council in general. Now, as I said in the beginning, the Council has been in existence for 50 years. And the Council is a nonprofit that was established to fund, advocate for services, programs, policy initiatives, and education that pertains to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We are part of a national network of federally mandated councils on developmental disabilities. There's one in every state and territory. Our funding comes from the U.S. Administration on Community Living. And while FDDC does not provide direct services, we are the granting agent for research-based, sustainable solutions that enhance independence, productivity, inclusion, self-determination, and full participation of individuals with developmental disabilities in all aspects of life. Now, our council members are appointed by the governor to represent family members, agency staff, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and other interested individuals. They have a broad range of policy and services. We have a broad range of policy and services to positively impact the lives of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Now, every 5 years, the Council creates new initiatives that are based on the areas with the greatest needs. Our current initiatives are in the areas of transportation, employment, elementary through post-secondary transition, self-advocacy, housing, and the workforce that provides direct care to individuals with developmental disabilities. We will highlight as many of these initiatives as we can today, but if we miss any, please download the presentation. It's under your handouts tab because it has links for all of the information in case you need to follow up later. Now, I mentioned that the Council has initiatives that cover a wide range of topics of areas with the greatest need. And our council members are invaluable to giving us their expertise and leadership to see that these initiatives create the impact that we want to have. FDDC serves as a change agent and encourages innovation and education and training programs for self-advocates, parents or guardians, family members, caregivers, and other professionals who support individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. A few of the Council's training initiatives throughout the state include Project TOPS. Now, Project TOPS is an inclusive post-secondary career and technical education program for students with intellectual and developmental disabilities at Robert Morgan Educational Center and Technical College in Miami, Florida. Project TOPS began with funding from FDDC and has received funds from the Florida Center for Unique Abilities. This program was designed to provide supportive strategies for students ages 18 to 22. Students learn all of the competencies associated with a job, and then they go on to gain certificates that lead to internships and employment. Another initiative that is very well known throughout the state and nationally, in fact, is Partners in Policymaking. Now, many of you have heard of Partners in Policymaking. I'm sure that we even have some Partners in Policymaking graduates with us today. This is a leadership and advocacy training program that teaches individuals with developmental disabilities, their caregivers, and family members to become community leaders and catalysts for systems change. Partners gain information, skills, and confidence to bring about change for individuals with developmental disabilities across the lifespan. Now, Partners in Policymaking accepts new applications every summer, so please be sure to head on over to the Florida Developmental Disabilities Council website. There will be a link in the handouts that I'm providing to our website where you can find the full application. You can find out more information about applying for this really great transformative training program. And I also want to point out that we do have a chat where you can list questions. And I'll also be answering questions at the end of the presentation. We'll take some time for questions. Moving on to some more of our council education and training initiatives. We have the DD Network Cadre, and the goal of this initiative is to build a sustainable and culturally diverse leadership force that includes individuals with developmental disabilities as well as institutional leaders. The Leadership Collaborative works with national experts and members of the DD Network to empower a new generation of leadership and impact systems change. Last summer, the DD Network Cadre hosted a virtual employment conference. The sessions can actually be found online at www.employmentfirstfl.org if you missed that conference. There is a link in the handout that will take you directly to that page. And this picture that you see on the slide is actually a current member of the DD Network Cadre. Her name is Danielle McGill, and she is holding the award that's there. She's holding the award with her representative. And Danielle was, in fact, last year's Idilio Award winner. So she has done really exceptional work in transportation and employment and advocacy, and she was recognized for that as last year's Idilio Award winner. We also have the Workforce Collaborative Training, which aims to ensure a sustainable, qualified provider base supporting individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. This training will foster a workforce culture that promotes self-determination, person-centered planning, and person-centered delivery of services for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. I'll talk a little bit about the Florida Employment First Collaborative Toolkit. This is a guide that can also be found at employmentfirstflorida.org, floridafl.org. It's a guide for employment service professionals to help them assess their current capacity and training needs so that they can identify options for, again, creating a more inclusive and integrated workforce. And we have a housing consolidated plan training that's currently in progress. The purpose of this initiative is to help advocates and other stakeholders get an idea of how they can influence the community planning mandates that are carried out in each city, in each municipality, that relate to how their housing dollars are spent. You can learn more about that training by also visiting FDDC.org. And as I mentioned, we may not have the time to get through every single one of these, but I wanted to point out that for all of these initiatives, there is a link in the handouts where you can go directly to the website or further information, and you can learn more. College Matters is a 5-part series of conversations that were developed for secondary and post-secondary professionals. It was designed to cover a broad range of topics that are critical to achieving successful post-secondary education in Florida. This series is in progress right now, as a matter of fact, and it focuses on preparing and supporting students for college success. You can visit fcsua.org to find College Matters sessions and materials. And again, there's a link in here that will take you straight there, and you can also find that link in our exhibit booth. Now, the council has also invested greatly and published several resource and training curriculum that I have a couple of examples here: Lighting the Way to Guardianship Online Training, and the Benefits Planning and Asset Development curriculum. You can visit FDDC's website to learn more about our online publications, resources, research studies, and a whole lot more. And here are one of our most popular resources to date would be Planning Ahead. Now, this is a handbook for parents, family members, and guardians of adults with developmental disabilities. It's one of our most requested resources. If you haven't checked out Planning Ahead, you're in for a treat, because it's actually being redesigned and re-released very soon. So there are some excellent forms and tools in here for planning for every stage of life. I encourage you to keep an eye out for the new version of Planning Ahead, which will be coming out very soon. The council produces resources and research to support systems change as well as individual and family advocacy. You can find the State of the States in Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, which is a tool that we use to educate policymakers and the wider community about the importance and an essential need for sustainable programs and services. There are some excellent facts and statistics and studies in the State of the State, so I would encourage you to look at that as well. Now we have some more information about other council resources and research. The Improving Postsecondary Outcomes Initiative. We partnered with the University of Central Florida Center for Autism and Related Disabilities to study barriers, propose solutions, and implement policy and practice changes in technical colleges, two-year degree programs, and universities. And again, since we are here for DD Day, we definitely need to spend some time talking about the council's public policy and advocacy. The council supports and funds a variety of programs, advocacy campaigns, and initiatives that target specific issues related to individuals with disabilities. In our virtual exhibit, you will find a link, and you'll find several resources to help you learn about and to have some talking points to advocate for preserving the iBudget. The council continues to work to save and improve the iBudget waiver. For resources to get involved, please visit ibudgetwaiver.com. There will also be a link in the exhibit booth. And we support fair wages for direct care workers. This year, as we continue our Pay Fair for Care campaign, the Florida Developmental Disabilities Council is shedding light on the importance of direct care services and support for a fair wage. So please make sure that you head to the exhibit and check out those resources that will definitely help you in your advocacy on these two very important issues. And we would definitely be remiss if we did not mention a major advocacy force in the state, which is the Florida Self-Advocates Network. This is a statewide association of self-advocates working at the grassroots level to provide a united voice for issues that are important to self-advocates and all persons with disabilities in Florida. Know that there will be some videos featuring Florida Sand throughout the day. Please make sure that you check those out, and please visit flsand.org to join the movement. Now, earlier I mentioned that we have some resources and presentations over at the Employment First Florida website. So I'm going to give you a little bit more information about Employment First, because this is a really pivotal initiative that involves a collaboration of, now we're up to 11 state agencies and organizations. We are the only independent entity in Florida that has the authority to facilitate collaborative partnerships among all state agencies, universities, and disability organizations. So please visit employmentfirstfl.org for resources, access to training, and more. The Employment First initiative is focused on working together to improve the growth of competitive employment for individuals with disabilities in Florida. And I know that we have several representatives of our DD network joining us this morning. I can see that Peter Sleesman with Disability Rights Florida is here with us. I know that we have a member of our DD cadre, Danielle McGill, is here with us. So as I mentioned earlier, we are a part of a developmental disabilities network. We partner together for ongoing training initiatives such as the DD Network Collaborative Leadership Program. And the DD Network is made up of the Florida Center for Inclusive Communities, the Mailman Center for Child Development and Disability Rights Florida, as well as the Council. We're also working together on Florida's DD Waitlist campaign with the Florida Center for Inclusive Communities. So to learn how you can take action to advocate for increased funding to reduce and eliminate the waitlist, please visit the ddwaitlist.cbcs.usf.edu. You do not have to write down that link. You can get there from the Florida Center for Inclusive Communities link that's in this presentation. And as I mentioned, we have several, people attending DD Day, and many of you have been to DD Days in the past. I know that a lot of you are no strangers to advocacy, but I have one final poll that I'd like to ask everyone. I'd like to know how you're taking part in DD Day. This is a great opportunity to meet with lawmakers, to hear from leaders. We have some excellent messages that are going to be shared later on in the day from leaders throughout the state. And you may be here for all of the above. So please share with us how you'll be taking part in DD Day. I see that over half of you are here for all of the above. You're going to be making the most of it, meeting with lawmakers, hearing from leaders and change makers, and making connections, which is excellent. And finally, I'd like to share with you all that the council, as I mentioned in the beginning, the best is yet to come. We'd like you to look for information on the Disaster Preparedness and Recovery Summit and the Advocacy Summit, which is coming later this year. Now, the Advocacy Summit is going to be an excellent opportunity to get advanced training in public policy and advocacy. So please look for information on those by staying tuned. Sign up for FDDC's listserv if you haven't already, and keep up to date on our capital updates as well, which go out from Margaret Hooper. She's also joining us. She has a lot of really excellent information that you'll need to keep up with legislation in Florida throughout session. Now, I am going to visit the chat, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those for you at this time. So please engage with us, put your questions in the chat, and I'll do my best to provide more information. Right now on your screen, you should be able to see a page that says, a slide that says links to resources. This is the second to last slide in the handout, and it contains all of those links that I was talking about, in addition to what you'll find in our exhibit area. Okay, that's a great question from Malcolm Harris Gowdy. Which policy has made the most impact in the FDDC? That's a really good question. I don't know if I can pick, just choose any one policy, but I would definitely say, last year, FDDC and everyone who advocated for the iBudget waiver made excellent progress. We are still working to preserve the iBudget waiver. We're still working on that this year, but gains were made. And I would say that being that the iBudget waiver is really one of the most important resources that we have, we're going to continue to work on that. And I would encourage you again to visit the iBudget waiver website, which you can find a link to in our exhibit area, and pull down those resources, study, and then use those to educate others. And then I have a question from Tricia. Is all the presentations available after DD Day as well? Yes. The presentations will be made available to everyone. My understanding is that those links will be provided. So if you weren't able to attend one of the sessions because they're running concurrently, you will get a link so that you can see those presentations later. Great question, Damian Gregory. For those who are new, what can they do right now to get involved with the FDDC's work? Again, I would say, please head on over to the iBudget waiver website. Check out the videos and the downloads that are there. You'll also find information about support for direct care professionals. Please look at those. That's probably the best way to hit the ground running. If you do that, you'll be lined up with the council, with the entire DD network, because we're all working on the waitlist issues. We're all working on the iBudget waiver. And then secondly, you can, if you haven't already participated in Partners in Policymaking, the fact that you're at DD Day is already a wonderful start. So I would encourage you as well to take a look at Partners in Policymaking. Watch out for the information on the Advocacy Summit, because making your voice heard is really the best way to get involved right now with FDDC's work. And I want to share that here is my contact information. If there's any questions that you didn't get to ask, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is there, and a link to our website is there. There are resources and so much more on that website. So please be sure to visit us there. You can always visit us on Facebook and interact with us that way. And we will definitely look forward to seeing all of you next DD Day. So thank you so much for joining us.